Okay, good morning, Toni. Great to see you.
Good morning, Jari. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, hey, thank you for joining our podcast and these Valo Talks. I think we have a really interesting discussion ahead, and would like to maybe first introduce you and myself to the audience. So, would love to maybe give you a little, down the memory lane how we met, because I remember both of us being Salesforce colleagues. I worked in the Salesforce platform team, and I think, was it maybe 2013, 14, we were launching some enhancements to Salesforce Shield and pushing those into the Nordic market. And I think that's how we originally met. But so quick introduction to me. My name is Jari Salomaa. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Valo.ai. And we have this podcast discussion series talking to Salesforce thought leaders like yourself, who've been in the industry and know a lot of the ecosystem. So could you introduce yourself to the audience, Toni, and our
Sure
listeners?
thing. I do remember where we met. It was kind of fun being able to use our head office connection, a Finnish guy.
Right.
Up there.
Providing service in Finnish language from the head office.
Exactly. Networking.
That's right.
But me, so I'm actually a 13-year Salesforce veteran, if you like. Most of that in sales. Been leading our commercial business here in Finland for roughly half of that time. Before that, I worked in pre-sales, led our pre-sales organization in Finland. That's actually where the cool stuff happens,
Right.
They do fun stuff with the technology and customers.
Right on the forefront with the major changes. So I think a lot has happened in these years. Salesforce has evolved to this giant company with so many different solutions, from the core CRM and touching pretty much every department in the organization. So how has that been, working with sales and now having the big portfolio of products to sell?
Yeah, well, Salesforce is definitely not the startup I joined anymore.
Yeah.
Far from that. I have a long CRM history back from the Siebel days and Oracle and all of that. But it's come so far. Back in the day, CRM Salesforce was much about aggregor, making sales teams use the solution, type in their data, make their meeting recordings, whatever.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's so much more automation. There's flow, there's agents, there's AI. It's a completely different world. But underneath, there's still the core solution, right? There's still core Salesforce.
That's right.
Which I think it's cool. It's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Foundations is everything, and I guess you have really contributed here in the Nordics for Salesforce, market position. I think Salesforce being a market leader, and I think Finland especially one of the leading countries for the last decade. In terms of Salesforce and some of the competitive solutions. How has it been in working with customers and kind of specifically looking into now these changes, and are you educating the market, like bringing a lot of awareness of these solutions, or is the market themselves kind of now more well aware of all the changes, the Slack, the Tableau, and all of these kind of newer Salesforce offerings?
I think Salesforce has always been riding the wave, leading the latest and greatest technology innovations and actually turning them into business use,
right?
Bringing in the value as soon as possible. But there's no need to educate about the cloud anymore. There's no need to educate about the importance of having your frontline data in best possible shape, all of that.
Right.
But I have to admit, sometimes you have to remind the customers that actually, hey, Slack is a Salesforce company, Tableau is a Salesforce company or product, and all of that.
Right. Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit, and while Salesforce being a great platform and having a lot of success, it's still up to the customers to configure it, use it, and there's a very vibrant consulting ecosystem around Salesforce and a variety of different partners. And We at Valo, we are building a solution to observe Salesforce, and automate a lot of these admin tasks and configurations, especially for security. And outside that, we also observe, through usage, what users are actually doing. One of the questions I think I would love to ask you is around budgets and costs and planning. So when organizations are renewing their Salesforce subscriptions or deciding to invest into a new workflow for customer support or sales or marketing or even Slack for collaboration, in your practice, what are some best practices for customers to plan around such changes and and maybe some processes, to really think that what do they need from Salesforce? So in concrete terms, they make a decision, hey, we are in, building our customer support in Salesforce. How do they start the planning process? Can you kind of reveal some of the insights on what's the magic in the room?
To be honest, I wish I knew, but customers never reveal everything. They have their own processes. They have their own ideas and thinking behind our negotiations and talks. But obviously, what we from a Salesforce perspective want them to accomplish is build a really solid front office solution with first class data. It's never complete, but keep on working that, and don't get tangled in too many details. Please don't add all those gazillion third-party solutions. Build your core and centralize as much as possible, and look forward. Plan for growth, and let us know what your plans are, and we can help you, and we can move together, plan together. Because end of the day, we're all planning for growth, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, great answer. I'm just maybe a little follow-through question on that. So we have about 38,000 Salesforce licensed users connected to our solution today.
That's a good number already.
Well, we are a startup and we're pushing hard forward and expanding that. But we've actually observed that not every user of these 38,000 needs a Salesforce core license. Specifically, 2,200 of them we realized that have not exhibited behavior, and they could do with a platform license, which is a lot cheaper. And in addition, we have customers who have the Experience Cloud and they have consumption-based licenses. They are complaining, a bit on how to plan this. And I think we are excited about our technology and our product to offer those benefits for customers to have not so that you spend a lot of calories once a year or twice a year and doing a license check and but it's actually the data is in your fingertips whenever you need it. And so I'm wondering what are your thoughts on this, the portfolio of having so many different products, so many different licenses, and it's rather complex for customers.
It is complex, and we have to remember that customers have other technologies to worry about as well.
Right.
So they need to manage the whole and match that with their budgets and growth plans. I think it all starts with understanding what's actually possible. Understand what the different Salesforce license types are, editions to begin with, et cetera. Do you need platform capabilities? What kind of objects? All of that. What features you have added to your additional licenses, et cetera. But again, understand what your teams are doing, what the individual people in their individual roles are doing, and what they actually need. And then come to Salesforce, go to your partner, and let's talk. That's basically it.
Got it.
And again, I'm coming back to the reality that we're all planning for growth here. But there's absolutely no harm in understanding both sides of the table, or all three sides if you have the partner as well, where the customer is headed and what they want and what they need. And also don't get too tangled in the ongoing current Salesforce contract. Because if there's a need to change, bring that information to Salesforce and work from there.
Wonderful. I guess maybe a little additional side note on that is that Salesforce as a company is constantly growing. Wall Street is looking for more growth, and I think every account executive and everybody working in sales at Salesforce wants to grow the business. And I think the story when I worked at Salesforce is largely that let's grow together. When your business is growing, we're automating the customer environment, then we mutually grow, and then the revenue grows as well. But I think in reality, we also observe that customers and maybe their consultants, maybe the partners, whoever is behind the screen, they configure Salesforce differently. And we as humans, we make mistakes. We use different apps to do different things. And now we have this AI. And AI should be able to come into the picture and do a lot of the tasks that maybe traditionally been done by a human. It is a bit of contradictory to witness that not everything is perfect and configured correctly, and then having this kind of a pressure or where I think Salesforce wants to grow its business. So what's your comment on kind of let's say we do find patterns like these 2,200 that could benefit from a platform license. Is that money on the table? Are they savings? Or are we maybe repurposing the budget on something else? What typically happens in those moments in the deal making?
To be honest, what I like in American way of doing business is that every need for change is an opportunity, right?
Right.
So if there's 2,200 users who could only work with platform licenses, that's an opportunity for everybody to move forward and negotiate and build new plans, new solutions. We also have to remember that Salesforce is gradually moving towards consumption-based licensing.
That's right.
So the traditional growth model for Salesforce itself was based on users, adding users. Now it's becoming different. And when you add Agentforce licensing on top of that, it's a third dimension in a way. Part of Agentforce licenses is already baked into the additional licenses. Same thing with Einstein, which is the core AI. So there are many, many ways to move forward.
What's your advice for customers who are kind of struggling to put their head around the consumption-based licenses? How much should I buy? How should I budget for my Einstein or number of AI agent actions and things that maybe difficult to quantify in planning. So do you have any advice for the...
To be honest, if I were a customer myself, I would want to try it out first.
Got it.
Do a small scale test or trial or whatever you call it. Keep it simple and learn what actually happens, how much of those credits you're using, and then extend your plan from there. To be honest, it can be a little bit difficult for Salesforce as well, or the Salesforce sales reps to understand what you're trying to accomplish. So it's probably safer to try it out at first and plan from there.
Yeah. And now in the era of Agentforce, I think everybody's very excited about the AI agents, and I think the way that now Salesforce is pricing agent actions and all of that is everyone's mind. Any thoughts on now the Salesforce itself has been around since the 99. 2006, Salesforce introduced App Exchange and the apps and a lot of programmatic functionalities, but the platform still has been predominantly made for human trigger flows, and humans are connecting to the UI and now we're talking about this, digital labor that Benioff is talking about, and that he's not hiring any more engineers, and the productivity benefits of AI is in the organization. So any thoughts around now what this really means for sales and customers and and especially now planning around budgets and priorities for AI within the customer organizations?
Again, you need to plan for uncertainty, to be honest. Of course, the big promise of AI and Agentforce is increased better productivity. There's no way around that. But who knows how we're going to interact from an internal perspective with these tools a year from now, 2 years from now. our daily work, what we do at our desks, will definitely change. But are we actually reaping those productivity benefits and gains or not? Remains to be seen.
Right.
But on the other hand, is there any other way forward? We need to adopt it. We need to embrace it. Sounds a little bit stupid, but everybody else is doing that, so we have to do it as well. And again, Salesforce is leading the wave here. And a big reason for that success actually is customer data. After all these years, our customers, Salesforce customers, have so much data in their orgs that it's kind of unique. And there's a huge promise in being able to put that into use for these agents and by these agents for their final business processes and customer-facing interactions.
Yeah, definitely like the opportunity of a lifetime, and I think we at Valo, we are positioning ourselves to really support Salesforce customers in their transition from human access to app and AI access by looking into the foundations of the application, how the profiles, permission sets being configured, ensuring that the guardrails for different access are implemented the right way through also the licensees, which then control a lot of what the Salesforce users can do. Have you noticed any difference now in customer behavior as we're adding more functionality and there's always constantly something new? Like you go to Dreamforce, and last year was Agentforce, and before that, Data Cloud, and before that, I remember when I was at Salesforce, Lightning, and there's always something new and new features and new tools and new technologies. And often when Valo interacts with customers, we realize that there's a lot of other systems connected to the Salesforce, and not all of them are used equally. So our tendency to always look into the new and adopt new, but then we don't have always time to look in the rearview mirror and the things we've done in the past, and they're still connected and live, even though might not be that actively used. So any thoughts on how customers should and admins should think about as they're embracing the new, but they still have the legacy processes? So any best practices that come to mind?
Well, if you think of Dreamforce, you've been there. We've been there many times. It's so easy to get carried away by all the hype and all the marketing messaging and all the fun stuff.
That's right.
But again, if you're an admin, you need to keep your feet on the ground. You need to understand how important your core solution, your core Salesforce actually is. And by that, I mean the stuff that is not directly related with Agentforce and AI and all of that. Nurture your core. On top of that, one of the big things with Salesforce back in the day was collaboration together with data, right? Collaboration and your records. That used to be chatter. A year ago at Dreamforce, Parker said he's going to kill chatter. Hasn't happened yet. But Slack has definitely taken that position. Slack nowadays works both ways, between core Salesforce and collaboration with channels. There's a lot of AI in Slack. There's a lot of user access management in Slack as well.
Right.
So my kind of pet area has always been collaboration combined with data. The hard and the soft together. Let's see where that goes.
Right. Getting towards the end of our talk, but let's pivot to the last theme around some of the administration and configuration work. So getting a little technical, but there's a lot of different now changes that are happening inside the core platform. For instance, Salesforce talked about the profile permissions that they're going to retire them, but then actually took it back but still basically recommends to move into permission sets in order to really build this granular access model inside Salesforce. We have now built a workflow and a utility to basically to provide a permission power on individual human users, AI, security score for apps, and including recommendations for administrators to take automated actions. This is also kind of like, I think, exciting. There's a lot of consultants and developers in the Salesforce ecosystem. Some have in-house teams. Some have completely outsourced their Salesforce development. What are your thoughts? What's going to happen to the consultants and how maybe Salesforce, consultant partners daily work or the admins that are doing their work? How is that changing now in the era of AI as we're...
So you want to look into my crystal ball here?
Yes.
Well, I'm a certified admin and developer myself, so I kind of feel it. I think when you're talking about the access model and all of that, it's actually been...
It can be a lot of work.
It can. It's kind of manual.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to, maintain that mental map of what you're actually doing sometimes. But it's also one of the big benefits of Salesforce, being able to control access down to individual record level.
For sure.
But at the same time, I've always been a strong believer in our customers, I mean the end customers of Salesforce, the companies, their own in-house ability to maintain and admin Salesforce to a certain kind of like advanced level, let's put it that way. Yes, you will need the partners, but everything is so much easier and faster if you have at least some good level in-house skills.
So don't outsource everything.
Don't outsource everything. Understand what you're outsourcing, and you get that understanding by having skilled in-house people.
Right.
At the same time.
But we both agree that like the administration complexity is now at a completely new level because of and with AI and apps and
the admins are learning the AI, the agent, admin tools at the same time, and they're completely different. It's different ballgame.
So then maybe let's talk about some of the productivity gains. So there are now these co-pilots, and Salesforce has like investments in making the setup easier. And I think I read somewhere there's more than 3,000 setup pages in Salesforce. When we think about that, like no human can anymore manage that kind of complexity, in my opinion. You need tooling, and of course, Salesforce is an amazing trailblazer, trailhead badges. You can learn and get better. But I think at that level of complexity, it's very expensive to have access to that kind of knowledge. The Salesforce MVPs and double rangers and people that are really skilled. So how maybe a company, or maybe there's somebody in the audience who's thinking about like evaluating Salesforce for something new, but don't have those skills. What they should be thinking about?
The good old adage, keep it simple, dude. Yes, there's definitely a lot under the hood in Salesforce, but you don't necessarily have to complicate or overcomplicate things. There's a lot of technology in your car as well. You can probably change tires and do stuff like that, but you don't necessarily need to open the hood and start taking the engine or the electronics apart. Same thing here. Choose your level where you want to go. Beyond that level, ask for help. That's what the partners are for.
Right.
Something like that.
That's great. Last question. What are you going to be doing over the summer? It's amazingly warm here in Finland, I think almost 30 Celsius. And how are you going to be enjoying and relaxing your summertime?
That's a good one. A lot of football recently.
Great.
My sons actually, you can probably see by my face color here. We're going snorkeling next week.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do Finnish people still enjoy saunas even though it's so hot outside?
Absolutely. Nothing better than sauna on a good day.
And jump into the lake or the ocean.
Yeah, that's the best.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Toni. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming, and looking forward seeing what the audience comments to the video are, and you can find us both. We'll put the LinkedIn links here in the comments, and please send us questions if you found this to be insightful and interesting, and you can connect with both of us on LinkedIn. Thanks,
Thank you, Jari.
Thank you.